Greetings again. Okay, in the last rough cut video, we talked about the 4 elements of defense. If you haven't watched that one, then just jump over there really quick. It'll take you 10 minutes at most. You probably know a lot of it already, but just go ahead and review that really quick and then hop back over to here. This rough cut video is going to be about layering your defense, and it's mission critical to learn how to layer the elements of defense when you're in a fight. But once again, let me state that these rough cut videos, they're just where I throw out info in a very rough type of format. Not like a bunch of editing, not a lot of scripting, just me talking to you, trying to share with you ideas and concepts. Sometimes they'll come across good, sometimes not. And like I said, take what works for you and discard what doesn't, but always give everything a try because there's reasons for these things, you know. Even if you don't necessarily agree with something, give it a try and see how it could be significant to somebody else. So, down below, hit the subscribe, hit like this video, subscribe, hit notifications if you want to get updates. I'll try to knock out more videos on a more regular basis here now that I switched it over to the Modern Swordsman page. And let's just get into it. Okay. So, elements of defense, we went over it last time. Really, it's a shield to block with, sword to block and parry with, dodging, the ability to displace your body or your entire body or a body member to avoid being struck, and then range. Jumping out, starting out, and always returning way out here, away from your opponent, instead of being always up in their grill. If you're up in their grill all the time, you get smoked, you know. I mean, you can overcome. Some of you are really great fighters, and I salute you for that. And some of us can stand there toe-to-toe and love doing that. But this is generic advice, so quiet. Okay, so layering a defense. So it's not enough to just throw your shield there to block that shot, right, on your head. It's not enough to just throw the sword somewhere to try to pick up that block. Because what happens when you're off? What happens when you toss that offside leg and then instead of going low, they rise it into this arm instead. So they go, like they're gonna go down and then they rise it up. Then your arm gets tagged. Or they throw a shot to your head, a wrap to your head, and then instead sink it all the way down the leg. If you just went like this, then they're going to take this leg down here. Point is, if you want to develop the best defense you can, you need to start layering these elements. And always, always, always have 2 elements in place. Now, once again, we reviewed the elements. You've got the shield. You've got the sword or your stick in the SCA case. You've got the ability to dodge, and you've got the range as your default. So how do you layer these? So, say for instance, somebody throws an offside to my body here. They're going to throw their blade to the offside, or somebody's coming in from the side and hacking at me with an axe. I don't just want to throw my shield there, right? Because the shield could pick it up, but note this arm. If they change direction on it at all, I'm in a lot of trouble. So, you want to double block everything if possible. Boom, I bring this over. Same thing over this side. Boom, boom. I pick that up. Even if you can only get like your sword over here, and you can't get your shield to like double block, you want to layer the 3rd element. Boom, a dodge in there, and you do that kind of automatically. So you want to group your blocks together. You don't want to just rely on just one element to block everything, because if you do, against a single opponent, if you're much better than them, you may be able to pick up everything they throw. Start facing 2 opponents, 3 opponents. No, you have to layer defense. So layer your sword and shield together for most of the blocks you do. And then you'll note when I block this way, boom, I also almost always throw in the 3rd. Even when they go for my leg, I will kick this down here, but I'll also kick this leg out. Boom. I'll rotate away. I'll float away from wherever their attack is coming in. even when they go for a wrap and I bring the blade back here, I move my body forward as well. I like, boom, picking up, block, they go for that wrap and I bring it here or bring it here. But generally I'll just bring it like that, but I'll dodge at the same time. Layer those elements together. Somebody can throw at your leg. You can just go for the shield, but you gotta be ready to layer in that dodge. If you're like a lot of the guys steel fighting in Europe, in the steel fighting arenas, you'll start with your leg way back, you'll bring your gear way forward, and you won't even really have to dodge because you'll automatically be out of range. That's how you loop a lot of that in there, is you can bait people in, like if I'm right here, but I bring my gear up here, it makes it seem like my head is in range, when my head is a good 7 feet away from the camera. So layer your defense, learn to flow. Learn to flow. Doesn't matter how you choose to block, layer it. Flow away with your body. Always throw in a little dodge if you can. And don't make it excessive. It has to be just enough. Because you don't want to be kicking too far out. So layering the defense, shield, sword, always bring those two together, and then you can find sometimes you won't be able to. You know, you got to cover both spots. Somebody throws a shot there, you're going to want to throw in that little dodge. And then, once again, in finality, when in doubt, get out. Get out to range. If you're being overwhelmed, you know, because it's going to be a while before you become a master swordsman. So just get out. Use range. Use range. Even when somebody comes in on you, if you start out at range, that's your first element of defense. Then you can start picking it up with the other elements. Ideally you want to layer 3. You want to layer 3. But if you layer 2, you're able to throw a shot, pick it up with the shield, and dodge at the same time. That's still 2 elements, so you can do that. Ideally, you want to have 3 there. Boom, boom. When you're picking things up, you want to like layer those 3. So that was just something I felt really important for people to train aggressively, is not only understanding and making use of all 4 elements of defense with sword and shield, but learning to layer them together and practicing it over and over and over and over again. Almost every time you get hit when you're defending, it'll be because you're not layering or effectively layering those defensive elements. Like I said, you have to sit there and you have to practice, you know, dodging that head out of the way of incoming shots. You got to practice dodging your body out of the way. You got to practice layering, that's picking up that block with the sword and the shield. And it comes in really handy when people come at you with really huge weapons that you can't really effectively block just with a sword or with a not so giant shield like this. You know, is if you pick it up with both at the same time, get them in there, it'll help out so much. But layering, understanding the elements of defense and layering them together will, you know, triple your success rate as far as your defensive level. So work on that. I'll catch you in the next video.